I find it interesting that all the girls, right, were attacking Savannah here, asking her questions about her work, shaming her for being a wife, asking her about divorce. Do you have a plan in place? Kind of taking shade at her for her business that she had, like you did before.
No, that was to correct that. I was not throwing shade at
Here's
all.
the thing.
I was
Look.
genuinely
I was
just,
watching. No, you
wait,
weren't.
I'm talking.
I'm talking. You're on my show. It
Okay.
doesn't really matter what you got to say right now. Because I was observing the women's behavior and body language throughout the entire show when women were speaking to her. And I found it very interesting that there was a very sarcastic, undermining undertone, like, oh, you're 19 years old and you're married, but what if your guy leaves you? Do you have a job? What's your backup plan, etc.? And I find it very interesting that, like, women do this, and then they wonder why it's so hard for them to find a guy down the road or be taken seriously, etc., because women don't respect traditional values anymore. And the way that you guys are speaking to her literally proves that. And that's why I've kind of been letting it go on for a bit. So I've been kind of intrigued by how the women responded to her comments. And it's been very vicious and very pernicious. And
With shame.
And I find it interesting, too, because all she's saying is the truth about how men think. And a lot of you guys, gave your immediate female reaction, knee-jerk reaction of, oh, well, is that the best way to go? Are you going to still have your man? Blah, blah, blah. The reality is men don't initiate divorces. The reality is that men typically, if they find a girl that has a low body count like her, statistically speaking, you're going to stay in a committed marriage for a long period of time. She got married at a young age when her value's still high. And, statistically speaking, she's probably going to have a long-term marriage. And all the girls here are angry about it, yelling at her or talking shit or being surreptitious in the way that they ask her questions like she was before. And, I mean, it's just very, very interesting that even when women say the things that we're thinking, you guys have a problem with it. I mean, you could go ahead and try to explain yourself if you want, but I think, the clarifying questions you were giving wasn't really about clarifying. It was more about trying to establish a semblance of dominance in your questioning, because you went ahead and confirmed her behavior is appropriate. Oh, yeah, it's art form to be on OnlyFans. No, it's not. It's absolutely deplorable. But women enable bad behavior all the time. Meanwhile, you got a girl here that's married at 19 years old. I think that's extremely successful. Matter of fact, it's something that you're trying to do, but she already got it at a young age. And her chances of getting her husband, right, at her age, I'll be honest with you, she's doing better than you are at 26 and still single dancing. But I find it interesting that you're trying to correct her.
So, just to clarify, when I was asking you what you did, I was genuinely just curious and trying to get to know you as a person, and I was not coming at you at all. So I just had to put that out there. Any vibe that you guys were feeling, that's my bad. I'm being as genuine as possible. I think it's wonderful that you're happy with where you're at and you're married and 19 years old. I'm not in the place to judge anybody for that. And I think success is definitely, like, it's different for everybody. I would consider myself to be a very successful person, and I am in a very happy relationship. I was actually just telling my friends the other day, I feel like I am in a position in my life right now where I've manifested every single thing that I've ever wanted, and it's a blessing from God, and I'm looking forward to receiving that continuously. And I'm not the type to bash a woman ever. I think love comes in all forms in shapes and sizes, and so that's my bad if I made you feel that way, but that was not my intention at all.
This is why women hate each other, because the thing is, right, I was watching very closely as you guys were saying your comments and everything, underhanded attacks here, underhanded attacks there, and I was watching it very closely because this is a very rare situation where we have a woman that, is traditional and, is able to say what she wants to say, and she's saying it in
different tone,
the active voice versus the passive voice. She demonstrated this earlier when she was explaining to him. She was saying things in a convincing manner, and it rubbed a lot of the girls here wrong. And it was interesting to see the dynamic of how uncomfortable it made a lot of you, because she was contradicting a lot of your guys' life choices. And you guys would say some things and maybe correct her or criticize or whatever. But the thing with women, right, is that I study you guys. I know you're saying, I didn't mean to come off that way, but you did.
Yeah,
the thing with
facts.
women is, this is why you guys hate each other, because we know, like, deep down, that you did mean to attack her a bit. And it's fine. You're going to try to play it back and walk it back like, no, not really. But the reality is like, you were asking these clarifying questions to try to, like, find holes in her story about, what do you do? Okay, tell me about your business. You were 19 years old. How long did you have that business, etc. And maybe to the onlooker that doesn't understand female nature, they'd buy that. But no, I'm not buying it, because you literally were trying to shit on her a bit. You just were doing it in a different way. And I find it interesting because you contrasted it with telling her that her OnlyFans is art when it's really not. It's just being a...
Well, I personally think
and I'm not surprised that you do that, because you're involved in work too. So of course you're not going to attack her and what she does because it's the same profession that you're in, and women have a terrible habit of enabling each other with doing bad things and making bad mistakes. Because I'll be honest with you, your chances of finding a long-term partner that's going to take you seriously, that's attractive and arousing and assertive and dominant and masculine are slim to none, as well as many other girls here that do sex work. And I find it interesting that she says this and y'all get mad, but it's the truth. This is how we think. No guy fucking busts his ass to make a bunch of money to wife up a... No, thank you. So all you girls that dance or do OnlyFans, we're not going to take y'all seriously, bro. I just find it interesting that you guys got so mad when she said it.
I thought starting your own business at 17 was impressive, and
no, it's more impressive that she's married at 19. No one gives a fuck about her business.
Yeah. It's not impressive to make a lot of money as a woman. It's not where your value is.
So, can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like I was trying to poke holes in your character?
Yeah, I felt
that?
like all the questions about my business was an interrogation to try to get me to slip up and to say, oh, well, no, you didn't actually do that or whatever you were going to say. I mean, I'm assuming you're liberal probably, right?
I don't really... Do you know what's funny? I don't really know the debt. Like, I don't really know. Like, to me, the fact that there's like two different sides is actually like kind of ridiculous. It's goes far into history as to why this is, which is very interesting. But we're not going to go there. I don't know which side I'd side with. I look at both of them, and I'm both the liberal Democratic side, liberal Republican side, and like. I don't know which way to pick.
Well, I mean, I just think it's why I asked that is I think it's interesting that you make a lot of money, and you said your body count is around 100. So obviously he's around y'all's body count, and he still said that out of all of the women here, he would pick me to marry. So it doesn't matter what beliefs a man has. If he makes a lot of money, if he's been a hoe, they're always going to choose the person with traditional values.
It wasn't just that, by the way. It was also because you had other character traits that were good. It was because you're also young. I personally do value if a woman can put together a business, that's not an easy thing to do. And in my experience, the ones that are entrepreneurs and aren't like trying to find somebody who's making more money than for some reason tend to be better people. They tend to be more mature because it's no joke to become a fucking entrepreneur, especially at a young age or in general.
Well, you said that though before I went and talked about my business.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
so
that matters more
because
in
of
general.
the traditional values. Yeah.